Hi, I'm Michael Bauer. You can find me on Twitter at RewindCEO, and you are listening to the Dynasty Hot Seat.
Yes, hello everybody, and welcome back once again to another episode of the Dynasty Hot Seat. You know what it is? It's the only Dynasty show that is, hey, look, we got a little thing up here now. It's a certified inferno, isn't that cool, right? And today we're really lucky we got Michael Bauer over here with us. You can find him online at Rewind CEO. You know, one of the best minds in the game. You can find him over at the Dynasty Rewind podcast, along with a load of other excellent folks over there. And Mike, it's great to have you on, and thanks for joining us here on the Hot Seat. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being flexible with the schedule. You know, recording on a Saturday, which I guess really only works with our time zone discrepancy. Yeah. So, yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Come check out our show if you haven't. And I'll tell you what, man, you guys over there in the UK, I'm surprised at the following that the NFL has over there. It's crazy. I keep meeting more and more people that love American football.
Yep.
So the more the merrier. Can I ask, what is your NFL team?
I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and you know everyone always gets at me like, oh, you just like, well, you love Steve Patrick Mahomes. So like, man, I'm a Jamal Charles guy. Like that, Jamal Charles is my guy. He was the guy that got me into the Chiefs long before Patrick Mahomes was a thought in anyone's head. So I thought I'd make that clear.
Well, let me ask you this then. One more thing. As somebody who lives overseas, you know, obviously here it's mostly regional. Like I live an hour and a half north of Philadelphia. My dad was an Eagles fan, so I grew up an Eagles fan. My whole life I've been an Eagles fan for over 30 years. How do people in other countries, I know you can't speak for everybody else, how do you pick an NFL team that you like?
I imagine like a lot of it, I imagine, is due to the NFL London games and maybe just people going over to that and just seeing a team that they liked. And maybe like even there's quite a lot of Giants fans over here. I think it's because like that's kind of when NFL started becoming popular. Like everyone remembers like the OBJ catch and things like that. That's whenever it started becoming bigger and bigger. So there's maybe sometimes it's the first Super Bowl they watched, whoever won that. Like that maybe is a team that they support. But for me, I was like flicking through NFL.com like years ago, and I was watching like highlights, and I was like, who's this guy? And it was Jamal Charles, like just breaking through tackles. I was like, oh, what teams he play for? I like them. And that was it for me. But for a lot of other people, I imagine it's like Super Bowls or the NFL London games.
Nice. I was just always curious how that worked.
Yeah, I think it's pretty random, I imagine. Yeah, not a lot of, yeah. Or maybe if people have family, like, you know, like people have family in Philadelphia, maybe people have family in other places.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but it's pretty random, I think.
Yeah. All right, cool. I was just always curious about that, how you guys picked. So, like I said, I'm from Pennsylvania, live an hour and a half north of Philadelphia, so logically, although I could technically be at the Meadowlands where the Giants play, but we don't like the Giants here.
So. No, we'll not talk about the Giants, and I don't imagine there'll be many Giants players coming up later in our draft, but there might be one or two.
If I may say, I like, if you're in rookie drafts, I really like Daniel Bellinger's spot. Daniel Bellinger, tight end from San Diego State or San Jose State. I always get those two mixed up. Fourth round draft pick. What do they have in front of him? Ricky Seals-Jones, Jordan Akins. I heard Bellinger was running with the ones, so take that with a grain of salt. He's a guy I've been kind of touting late fourth, early fifth round UDFA in your rookie drafts. Look, when you only have one really good tight end going off the board, and that's Trey McBride, if you can get a dart throw that is doing anything for you, fifth round UDFA, take it. Stash him on your taxi squad. Why not? What do you have to lose, right?
Yeah.
Would you rather take a dart throw at a tight end who could be, if he's a mid tight end too, for 5 years, or you take a running back who has one good game and never does anything again? Take the stab on the tight end. Why not? So Daniel,
absolutely. I like Daniel Bellinger. And if you're listening and you're in one of my leagues and you're listening and thinking, oh, I might go try and grab Daniel Bellinger, you can. I've got him.
You've got him already?
Yeah. I've got him. I've got them all.
I've got a lot of them. And you know what? The problem is a lot of leagues that I'm in, people listen to my show and they'll snipe me. And I'm like, right in front of me. And then they're laughing in the chat. Now, admittedly, I did that to Shevin. I had to pick right before him in one of our rookie drafts. And he's a big Cole Turner guy. He likes him. Cole Turner from Nevada. He likes him a lot. So I took him the pick right before him. And then when the draft was over, I immediately put him on the trade block and tried to trade him Cole Turner. And he just turned the trade offer down. He's like, I know what you're doing. I just don't even want him at this point. I was like, well, it was worth a try. But in the fifth round, if I end up cutting him, he doesn't do anything, whatever. At best, he starts a couple games for me and gets me 10 points. I'll be happy with that too. In the fifth round.
Yeah, that'll do. And that was nice, but we got sort of a couple of sneaky hints and tips there, but we're going to into proper section number one, the art of war, which is your hints and tips for dynasty players out there of no matter what experience they have. What kind of tips do you have for dynasty players out there around the world?
Look, this game is not as hard as I think we need it to be, right? I think this can almost be relatable to coaching in the NFL. We always try to be the smartest player in the room, the smartest analyst in the room. We always try to overthink everything. Just keep it really simple. And let's start with the rookie draft or the startup draft. Draft the best player available. Don't draft for need. We did a live stream last week celebrating 2.5K in the YouTube channel. And somebody asked me at the 110, should I draft this running back or this running back? And my response was, I wouldn't draft any of those running backs at the 110. You're drafting for need. Clearly. One of them was Isaiah Spiller. I can't remember who the other one was, to be honest with you. And I like both of these guys. But at the 110, I would rather have Jahan Dodson, George Pickens, Chris Olave. Take the long-term solution at wide receiver. Trade for need later. Then again, you have to be a bit of a salesman in Dynasty Fantasy Football. So try not to play your cards too close to your vest. But, just draft the best available, not for need. You're going to find yourself getting into big problems when you draft for need because you're going to be stretching for guys. If you have a need, you're at the 110, right? Let's say you do have a need and it's running back. Trade back.
Yeah.
Trade back to the 2-5 and draft Tyler Algier or something like that, or Damian Pierce. These are guys that are going to get you through at least a year or so, and you can go from there.
Yeah, I absolutely love that as a tip. Keep it simple. It's kind of like, we talked about the Chiefs area. It's kind of like what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They kept it simple. It's through slants. They just kept it simple, and they won quite convincingly. Just don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. Just take the best player available and don't try and reach too much just to get that running back or get that quarterback or get whatever you need. Like don't go reaching. Just think about it. Best player, take them, and work the rest out later. So I love that as a first tip. You got any more for us, mate?
I got two more for you. One, and I think this definitely applies to everybody. Don't overreact to camp news. If you recall, last year Jamar Chase couldn't catch a football. 2 years ago, BC Johnson was better than Justin Jefferson, and this year Treylon Burks is overweight and asthmatic. So it's June. Let's relax a little bit, but I do want people to pay attention to what players are popping in camp. Jahan Dotson having a very strong camp. Daniel Bellinger, who we talked about, running with the ones. Okay, things like this are really important. Romeo Doubs having a fantastic camp with Green Bay, and Aaron Rodgers is talking about how great this guy looks. John Mechie having a good camp for the Texans. Pay attention to stuff like this. But when you have players that were drafted highly and he's got this and that going on, just stay calm. Don't panic sell these guys. Yeah. It's June. Some guys are going to take a little longer to catch on than others. Okay. So let's just try not to overreact. It's going to be people on Twitter. And don't forget, when people are putting stuff on Twitter, Twitter is a great source of information. It's also a great source of terrible information.
Yeah.
People will say whatever about Treylon Burks, about Justin Jefferson to fit their narrative.
Yeah.
Treylon Burks has asthma. I told you he was bad. That's why you should have listened to me and drafted Drake London. And what I'll say to that is, dude, calm down.
Yeah.
just relax. You draft Treylon, you draft Drake London. You're going to be fine either way, most likely. There's a possibility one has a better career than the other, but it's probably going to be pretty close.
Yeah, exactly. And especially on Twitter as well, like whatever you see, like Treylon Burks is terrible. If you go looking for it, just look for it. Treylon Burks is amazing. And there'll be people tweeting about that too. So if you want to make yourself feel better, there's always the complete opposite opinion on Twitter as well. So go looking for that to make yourself
If you want to make yourself feel better, just delete Twitter and you'll feel so
better.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll go through life much easier, and you'll not see
For
anything
sure.
negative. Yeah, love it. So yeah, great second tip there, Mike. And what you got for your third and final tip for
This is my
us?
third and final one, and I feel like this is one that just really gets overlooked. And this is before you draft in season when you're picking up guys off the waiver wire. Know your league settings. And I have been a victim to this too. Like I'm drafting and people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, isn't this super flex? No, it's one quarterback. I'm like,
Damn.
yeah. So just take a minute, click on the little gear, look through your settings, know
Yep.
your scoring settings too. And hey, pay your league fees. Don't leave the
Yeah.
commission hanging. And if you're a commissioner, this is something that I'm doing too. Don't draft until everybody pays.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to call people out, say, hey, well, when's the draft starting? Well, we have 3 people left to pay. I'm not going to
Yeah.
tell you who it is, but you can go in League Safe and see. I've been using League Safe now, by the way, not endorsed by them, but keeps the money out of my hands. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't know if you guys can use League Safe over there. I think you can. You can't.
I tried to use League Safe very briefly, but I couldn't quite figure out how to do it. I think I'll need to find a way to do it with PayPal so I can use dollars because it seems to only accept dollars. So I'll need to figure that out. I imagine there is a way.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. You know, you guys can figure it out. But
Yeah.
I actually set it up for my one league, and it's a home league too. So but I'm like I just don't want anything to do with the money in my hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially now, like over here, I don't know what it is, but they're cracking down because they're considering it like sports betting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going across state lines, so it's getting like super weird.
Yeah.
So I just don't need my PayPal or Venmo accounts getting suspended. So
No.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. But make sure you pay up. Don't be that guy that's getting chased at the end of the season or girl. You know, just don't be that person. Make sure you pay up. You do your commission solid.
Yeah. Do your due diligence, pay up, know the league settings, and I'm going to throw on top of that. Be active as well. Don't leave trades sitting in your inbox for 2 weeks and yeah.
Now, unless you're traveling, you're on vacation, then it's completely understood. But hey, look,
Sure.
and then also on the flip side of that, don't be the guy that's berating someone for not being as active as you. There's going to be people that are way more invested in fantasy and in a league than other people. You know, everybody has stuff going on. Everyone has different schedules. Just try to be a little understanding. Now, if you reach out to someone and it's been a month or so, then you can say, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But it's hard. Everyone leads different lives. So
yeah, 100%. So I really like those as 3 excellent tips for people playing Dynasty around the world. And now, we can see the flames around us. It's time, Mike. We're going to put you in the hot seat for our startup mock draft, and we're going to pull up our stream right here. And look at that. That works so seamlessly. So the first thing I'm going to ask you, Mike, is, in an absolutely ideal world, if you got to choose where you would start in your Dynasty startup position, what position would you take, and why would you take that position?
You always want to say the 1-1, right? Because you want that big splash. But then if it's a startup and it's snake, it's a while till you pick again. So when I'm doing a startup that's snake, I go anywhere between like the 1-4 and the 1-8 is really where I like to be, just like right in the middle. And I know that we say that that's the dead zone for rookie drafts, but this isn't a rookie draft. When you have a middle of the pack pick, I feel like it's a little bit easier for you to navigate and move around. Like people don't really knock mid-round picks in a startup because you know what you're getting. You're right in the middle of the snake. So like I said, I'll shoot for like 1-4, 1-6, 1-8, something like that.
Nice. Well, let's take 1-6 right slap bang in the middle then, will we?
Sure.
Nice. So let's claim slot 1-6 and we'll see what we can get. And you're right, I like that idea. Like you can't really, I always think when you're in the middle, you can't really get caught by like a run of something. Like if you're at the start or the end, you can get really hit by a quarterback run or a running back one. If you're in the middle, you can kind of get there before it becomes too bad for you.
Yeah, I agree. And again, it's a startup, so there's going to be some sort of value there. I feel like no matter what round you're in. That's why I try to just right in the middle. And sometimes, you do a thing where the commission will go, grab your spot, and then I'll randomize it, which is fine too. And
Yeah.
there have actually been circumstances where I've picked a spot and they randomize it and I had the exact same spot. It works out like that sometimes, which is fine too.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get locked in. This is Superflex, so you can have probably going to want to have 2 quarterbacks in, but of course it's your choice in Superflex.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Let's get going then. Let's start the draft and see who falls to us. Are you sure you want to start the draft? Yes, I am.
I love doing mock drafts, by the way. Sometimes, like when I do my lunch break, I'll just do like a quick rookie mock.
Yeah. This is why I started the show. It's like I listen to quite a lot of Dynasty podcasts, fantasy podcasts, and every time someone does a mock draft special, it's like my favorite episode. So I was like, why don't I just make the show all about mock drafting?
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I'm fine with just going off the ADP. And at this pick, to get Patrick Mahomes at the 1-6 in a Superflex startup.
Yeah. What is going on? Yeah.
Ridiculous. But then again, like looking at it, Allen, Herbert, love those guys a lot. Jonathan Taylor at the 1-3. Don't hate it. Jamar Chase at the 1-4 in a super flex might be a little bit rich for me. To be honest with you, I would have taken Lamar Jackson or Mahomes there. And I would have taken the value dip on T. Higgins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just better ADP. I'll let someone take Jamar Chase, and I'll take a T. Higgins or Justin Jefferson a little bit later. But I'm cool with Mahomes here if you are. And look, you get your guy. You get your quarterback. You got to
let's get – I mean, if I was sitting in the hot seat here and Patrick Mahomes fell to me, I'd be doing backflips. Like, this is unbelievable. Like, I can't believe he's fallen too. So that's the perfect start. So let's get Patrick Mahomes, locked in. And, he is sliding down, but I've never seen him slide that low before. But people seem to be taking Josh Allen ahead of him every time. And a lot of people are taking Justin Herbert over him now as well. So, yeah, he's got a lot to prove, coming into next year, and he's got less weapons to do it with, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, let's see. Okay.
Yeah. So we're back on the board again now, and you got Deshaun Watson sitting up there at the top, a lot of question marks over him, and
I am
Austin Eckler
staying away from Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
1,000%. Just the uncertainty for me. I don't care what he could be. There's also look. The ceiling is very high. We know what Deshaun Watson could do when he's on the football field. He's an elite athlete. But there's also the possibility the guy never steps foot on the football field again. There's a very big possibility. I feel like the NFL, the Browns, the Texans, they know something. And I think when it comes out, it's going to be bad for everybody involved. Really bad. And I just want this whole situation to just be over. So, yuck. Let's see. All right. So can you just looking at these guys here? I'm again staying away from Watson. Just looking at the ADP, Austin Eckler. I feel like it's a little too high for him. I do think Isaiah Spiller cuts into his workload. Russell Wilson, too high for him. Way too high for Breece Hall. Too high for Jalen Hurts. Can you just scroll down a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
You know what? Honestly, if I'm on the hot seat and I'm making the picks, I want Devontae Adams here. I'm not a guy that goes for ADP, and here's the reason why. So just looking at these guys, Deebo Samuel, little disgruntled. Trey Lance, we still don't know if he's going to be starting this year. Joe Mixon, always banged up. Love Joe Mixon. AJ Brown, it's a run-heavy offense, kind of a lateral move. Dalvin Cook is below Devontae, gets banged up a lot too. Look, Devontae Adams is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL.
Yeah.
He has that connection with Derek Carr. Give me all the Devontae Adams, man. And so you're looking at it, Devontae Adams and Patrick Mahomes are your first 2 picks. What that tells me is we are not playing productive struggle. We're playing to win right now, but these are guys who we're still going to be able to rely on in a little bit. So I'm taking Devontae Adams here for sure.
Nice. I like it. And I like the way you're talking about, like, you're not necessarily playing to ADP. You're not like, I might pick this guy and then get the guy I really want. Like then the next round, you're like, I'll just take the guy I really want now.
Yeah. It's one of those things. I take my guys, but I try to put some thought and some logic behind it as well. You know what I mean? And I don't really play by ADP. It's helpful. ADP is helpful. I will say that, but it's not the be all end all. So admittedly, I was kind of hoping what I wanted to do here was double tap wide receivers. I was hoping Jalen Waddle would fall back to us because I think Tyreek Hill is going to be the stretch the field guy, and I feel like Jalen Waddle is going to be the pepper me with targets guy. So I was hoping to get him, but he went 3 picks before us. Can you click on wide receiver for me? I want to look at the wideouts again.
Yeah, let's have a look who's there. I know Stephon Diggs is still there, and Tyreek Hill is still there as well, actually, and the guy you talked about earlier, T. Higgins, still sitting there as well.
So I'm actually, if this is me, I'm going to go with T. Higgins.
Yeah,
That's the guy. DK Metcalf, there's some uncertainty. I know they're talking about contract situation, and we don't know who the starting quarterback is. We hear Drew Lock one day, we hear Geno Smith the other day. Stephon Diggs, look, I like Stephon Diggs. There's a lot of other options at wide receiver in Buffalo, and Josh Allen has shown that he has no problem tucking it and running too. Also, I want to say everybody, James Cook, they drafted him in the second round, so everybody's all gung-ho on James Cook. James Cook is the guy that is spelling Devin Singletary right now. So Devin Singletary is running with the ones. That is important to note. So there's a value dip on Devin Singletary. If I can, I'm trying to buy Devin Singletary anywhere that I can. I have him in a lot of spots too. So go get you some Devin Singletary. And if you're contending, he could be a huge asset for you. But give me T. Higgins here, and I'm super happy in a super flex league with starting it off with a young wide receiver going into his third year. An aging wide receiver who still has 3 to 4 years of solid wide receiver one performance and one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, that's the start. Like, everyone really dreams of, getting that mix of youth and experience, and that golden player as well in Patrick Mahomes. So I really like the T. Higgins pick. I think, next year all eyes are going to be on Jamar Chase, and people aren't going to let Jamar Chase do what they did to him last year, and he's going to be double teamed almost all of the time. And that could mean T. Higgins ends up with a lot more targets than he even got last year. So I'm a big fan of T. Higgins for next year.
This is crazy just looking at the way that this draft is going, and I understand that we're against the computer, but I could see this draft playing out like a couple years ago. Look, Christian McCaffrey at the 2.5, Dalvin Cook at the 3.2. 2 years ago, that's not the case. Those guys are high first round draft picks, super flex or not. Breece Hall at the 3.5 is a little rich for my blood, to be honest with you, just being a rookie. And Michael Carter's still there. Michael Carter is not going to go out with a whimper. He was relevant last year. But if we can you click on running back and see who is available for me? Because I'm just thinking about running backs.
Saquon Barkley still sitting there. We talked about Christian McCaffrey. He's had a similar fall from grace, if not a greater fall from grace for Saquon Barkley. Antonio Gibson, big question marks there as well, and Kenny Walker as well, another rookie, and J.K. Dobbins, a guy I really like going into this year, still there too.
So this is what I'm doing right now. If I'm in the draft, can you put in our queue? Can you put Saquon Barkley and David Montgomery? These are two guys that I want to revisit in a little bit if they're still available. So I like to set my queue up a little bit. Throw Erin Jones in there too.
Yes, I like that. I like Erin Jones for next year too.
Yeah. And then can you click on quarterback for me? Being a super flex league, we had a lot of elite talent go off the board. I am going to stick with ADP here. And this is what I like to do. Again, a lot of people are down on him. I'm going to wait. I'm going to take Justin Fields here. And Justin Fields has shown some ability to run. He's not a running quarterback. And, if I may say, I feel like people, they just immediately they see a black quarterback and they go, running quarterback. And I hate that. It's not true.
Yeah.
You watch Justin Fields in college. Did he run? Absolutely. That's what the Ohio State offense wants to do. He always looked to throw first. And even though I'm a Penn State fan, and it pains me to say this, I love Justin Fields. And I love J.K. Dobbins when he came out too. He's my running back one when he came out. Excuse me. I'm talking a lot today. We did a mock draft for YouTube before this. But I love Justin Fields. Now, the Bears didn't necessarily give him a ton of help, but I think Darnell Mooney, he's going to be fine. They got Cole Kmet there. So I think that they have enough weapons where he could be relevant. And again, this is Dynasty. If this is a redraft super flex league, I'm probably not taking Justin Fields here. I might be more inclined to take a Derek Carr or wait a little bit on a Tom Brady. But give me Justin Fields here. And then we're going to check our queue in a little bit. So let's see what happens after we take Fields.
Let's get Justin Fields. And I do remember whenever Fields came out, one of his criticisms was he actually took too long in the pocket and would stare too long at his receivers. So if that was a criticism coming out, how is he just a rushing quarterback whenever people criticize him for not rushing in college?
Yeah, I don't get it. Let's see. After that, okay, we got some more. Another rookies sprinkled in there. We got Drake London. So Saquon Barkley is off the board. Which okay, I could have taken him there, but I'm all right with losing out on him because there's a lot of questions. The Giants' offensive line isn't that good. Saquon Barkley has been coming off injuries, which, by the way, you might want to buy some Matt Breida if he's hanging out. He's the direct backup to Saquon Barkley. And they drafted I think as a UDFA, Jayshawn Corbin from Florida State. I wasn't super impressed by his film, but that being said, there's an opportunity there. Matt Breida has shown he gets banged up. Saquon Barkley shows he gets banged up. There is a possibility that Jayshawn Corbin is relevant early in the season. And if that's the case, you don't believe in his talent, don't believe in his talent. Sell his ass. Sorry, I don't know if you want the curse or not. Anthony Johnson goes. J.K. Dobbins is another guy I was thinking about. Pittman, McLaurin, I like it a lot. So let's see. So we got 2 quarterbacks. We got 2 wide receivers. I got David Montgomery in the queue. I got Erin Jones in the queue. Can you click on running back again for me? I just want to see something here. And then, all right. So just looking at it, Kenneth Walker, I think it's a little too early for him. Got Montgomery in there. We got Jones in there. Josh Jacobs. We got Lombardi Lenny. Zeke. I'm okay with Zeke, but not right now. I feel like I could wait on Zeke a little bit.
I think so. James Conner there as well.
James Conner, who I like. Elijah Mitchell. So I feel like there's a teardrop after Josh Jacobs, to be completely honest with you. And I feel like we can wait on some of these guys. But at the same point in time, I'm also okay with losing out on some of these guys. You know what I mean? Because of question marks surrounding either them, their line, or the rest of the team. You know what? I know I had him in the queue, but I'm going to bypass him. Give me Josh Jacobs here. And the reason why is this. They got Josh McDaniels coming in there. Josh McDaniels is throwing. I like to throw to running backs. Josh Jacobs is a good receiver. Josh Jacobs, I don't have the stats in front of me. I believe he had over 50 receptions last year. So in the system that McDaniels runs, I think they're going to run the crap out of him this year. And they did not pick up his 5th-year option. They drafted Zamir White, but I'm not worried about it. Let's run the wheels off Josh Jacobs this year. So give me Jacobs. We're trying to win it this year. You know what I mean? Well, that's what I want to do with our team here. I want to win it this year.
Nice. Let's get Josh Jacobs locked into our team.
All right, so David Montgomery went off the board, and he was a guy that I was looking at, but that's okay. It's all right. All right, so just looking at it now, I'm going to be punting tight end for a little bit because a lot of our elite talent at tight end is going off the board. We have 2 quarterbacks, so we don't need a quarterback 3 yet, in my opinion. I'm probably going to tear down for my quarterback 3 a little bit later in the draft. Wide receiver is one of the deepest positions in the NFL. But you know what's not one of the deepest positions in the NFL? Running back. So we're going to go back to that. I want to take Erin Jones here because I don't think he's going to make it back to us the 7th round. So you can go ahead and throw him on our team. And then what I want you to do is if you could put Elijah Mitchell and Ezekiel Elliott in our queue. There we go.
There's Zeke as well. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So we'll go ahead. We'll draft Erin Jones.
Yes. Yeah, I think Erin Jones is going to have a pretty big year, like just because of that. You know, it is a new-ish looking, backfield at Green Bay. And, we know that Aaron Rodgers trusts Aaron Jones so much. And I think he's going to get a lot of targets. He might end up, you might end up seeing him carry the ball a bit less, but, he's going to get more targets, I would say, because of that new sort of wide receiver room.
Yeah. All right. So our queue has been emptied, but that's okay. That's okay. You know, because we have our 3 running backs. I'm confident in these guys. So if you could you scroll over and click on tight end, please?
Let's have a little look who's there. So you got Dalton Schultz is sitting there with Dallas Goedert and Pat Freiermuth as well. Dawson Knox going pretty high for somebody who obviously depended a lot on touchdowns last year.
They did sign O.J. Howard, and let's not overlook that. O.J. Howard just never really caught on with Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians is a guy I'm not really a big fan of, just the way he runs things, but he was retired now. So, again, not going with ADP. The guy that I want here is Pat Freiermuth. And Dalton Schultz is on a very good offense, although there has been some contract questions. Eagles fan, I'm bypassing Dallas Goedert because I just love what the Steelers do with tight ends. Here's why. So the Steelers have a better quarterback situation than the Eagles do, be it Mitchell Trubisky or Kenny Pickett. Now, why do I say that? For fantasy, Jalen Hurts could be better than either of those guys because of his rushing ability. However, when we're looking at arm talent and getting it to the tight end, I think Kenny Pickett or Trubisky are probably going to be better at that than Jalen Hurts will. Dallas Goedert, as much as I love the guy too, does have the inopportune ability to stonehand some passes too. I love Goddard, but give me a guy who's a little bit younger in what could be a better offense in the future. Give me Freiermuth here. So we got our first tight end off the board for us. And, we're going to need another one then, but that's okay. We'll come back to that. Also, if you're looking for a stash, look for a guy like Grant Calcutta. He was drafted by the Eagles this year. He's going to be their tight end too from SMU. Athletic, good receiver, kind of like a Dallas Goedert, to be honest with you. You can do everything pretty well. They do like to use two tight ends in Philadelphia, so he could be a nice stash for you as well.
Nice. That's a new name for me as well. So that's a lovely tip.
So Calcutta actually retired from football at one point in time because he had so many concussions. Took a year off, said I missed it. I want to come back, and he did. And I played a year at SMU, and he got drafted. And he was a guy that he was looking at one point in time like he was going to be a pretty high pick. He played with Baker Mayfield at Oklahoma. So, just a little.
Wow, good for him getting back in the game, and hopefully all works out for him with those. You got to be very careful with the concussions, so hopefully everything works out for him.
So let's see. All right. So some guys going off the board here. Amari Cooper, Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore. I was kind of bummed Zach Wilson went off the board. He was a guy I was targeting a little bit. Ross St. Brown, Tom Terrific, Sky Moore, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who, by the way, I'm not completely over Clyde Edwards-Helaire yet. But that being said, buy Ronald Jones if you can.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Darrell Williams was relevant last year, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire did not start the playoffs. That was Jerick McKinnon, I believe. So it is worth noting. Kirk Cousins, Cortland Sutton. All right, so at this point in the draft, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, if we could click on quarterback, just because seeing these tier down quarterbacks, what's going. Ryan Tannehill still on the board, Jameis Winston. I think I could wait around on quarterbacks, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so.
Some value here. Let's see. Can you click on wide receiver for me?
Yeah, let's see who we got at wide receiver. Christian Watson sitting there, the fact that that's a big sort of, risk as well. He's I feel like Watson's got to be very boom or bust at the minute. He's just, you don't know what's going to happen with him. And, Mike Williams, who I like, and, Juju Smith-Schuster, he's sort of coming back down again now in ADP. I think when he signed for the Chiefs, it kind of spiked a bit. It's sort of lulling down. Maybe people are forgetting like he's playing for the Chiefs, or I don't know why he's going back down again.
So interestingly enough, in a video that we did, I think it was last week or the week before, I had Juju Smith-Schuster as a buy now if you're a contending team, but he could also be a buy now if you're not a contending team because I think he's 25. So the guy's got probably another decade of football left in him. Can you scroll down a little bit? I just want to see who else is
of course. So Michael Thomas and DeAndre Hopkins there, obviously question marks there. Hunter Renfrow, Gabe Davis, and Allen Robinson.
I feel like I could wait on some of these guys. To be completely honest with you, let's go back to running back. I just want to see what's there yet, see if anything that I can't pass up. You know what? Let's go with Miles Sanders here. So his ADP might not match up with where I'm picking him, but I'm happy to take the dip because a couple of years ago, Miles Sanders would not have been going this low in the startup. I think he would have been going probably 3 or 4 rounds higher. The Eagles really didn't do anything to address running back situation. Boston Scott's still there. Kenny Gainwell is going to get a lot of receiving work. They did sign Kennedy Brooks as UDFA. He's a good stash too. Kind of a boring player, but a little bit of a hammer. Kind of like Jordan Howard was last year. So I'm going to take the dip on Miles Sanders and sign me up for him. So I think we're pretty good on running backs for right now. Might be some guys that I might be interested later. Because, you always running back is one of those things where you need a lot of them. You need depth. Yeah. It's kind of hard. So, and then let's see. So let's get
Miles Sanders put in, and see who falls to us.
4 running backs. Just watching quarterbacks go off the board, watching tight ends go off the board. Gabe Davis was a guy I had my eye on maybe. Michael Thomas is an intriguing guy too, because I don't think he's reported to Saints camp yet or Saints OTAs. Like,
not that I've seen.
I'm concerned if I roster Michael Thomas, and in a startup, I was thinking about him. I think I'm staying away right now. There got to be times where you're happy to miss out on something. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I should have taken Michael Thomas there. He had a really good game. Yeah, but he could have also not done anything for you. So that's kind
Yeah.
of the way I look at things. Let's see. Can you click on quarterback for me? Because I
Yeah,
think
let's
we
see.
waited a little
I
bit.
think it was just Kenny Pickett went off the board. I think most of those guys are still there, like your Tannehills and your Matt Ryans and the people like that. Davis Mills and their guy I quite like too.
Let's go back to wide receiver then.
Nice. Let's have a little look who we got. Ayuk sitting up at the top there, and DeAndre Hopkins obviously going to miss some time, and Hunter Renfro. Yeah, would you kind of avoid now? You obviously drafted Devontae Adams. Are you of the mindset that like, oh, I can't take Hunter Renfro because I got Devontae Adams, or would you ever like, I'll just start both of them?
I'm not staying away necessarily. But the likelihood is if you do have a team that has Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow on it, obviously that was before they were teammates. Yeah, I have no problem with that because, what if one of those guys misses time or you're going to need to have bye week fill-ins for other players? So what if you're loaded up on one offense? The Raiders offense looks like it's going to be pretty damn good this year. But can you scroll down a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So underneath Pickens, you got, Brandon Cooks, always reliable. Jahan Dodson, who we talked about earlier, looking great in camp. And Claypool, Kadarius Toney, and Christian Kirk, one of the new weapons for Trevor Lawrence.
I'm going to go with Jahan Dodson here. And just looking around him, I like Brandon Cooks, a little bit older. I like Chase Claypool, but there's a lot of other options there. I like Kadarius Toney, but I'd wait on him. And I'm not the biggest Christian Kirk fan, but we do have to think about the fact that he's projecting to be the wide receiver 1 in Jacksonville. We don't know what that looks like, to be honest with you. So I'm happy with taking a rookie here because I have some pretty good wide receivers already. But I think Jahan Dodson's probably a guy that if you need to, you can plug and play him from day one. He's making a good connection with Carson Wentz in camp. Jahan Dodson is a guy. So I live in Northampton, Pennsylvania. Jahan Dodson he grew up in Nazareth. So he grew up 20 minutes away from me. So
cool.
I've known about Jahan Dodson since he was in high school. And I followed his career through Penn State. So, hey, is it a homer pick for me? Yeah. But as it turns out, it's a pretty damn good pick, to be honest with you. And where he got drafted in the draft, people said he was overdrafted. I don't think so at all. He's got all the talent in the world. Jahan Dodson singly kept Penn State in games last year. And if Penn State had a better quarterback, which they do, if you play Devy, Drew Alar coming in, just got to get Sean Clifford out of there. Yeah, he kept this team single-handedly in games, for sure. So give me Jahan Dodson right here, and I'm happy about that, to be honest. I'm super happy about that.
Let's get Jahan Dodson locked in our team. And, he's playing obviously with Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz, I've always maintained, like, he may not be the best NFL player, but Carson Wentz usually does good things for dynasty players, for the weapons around him. Like he did good things for Michael Pittman Jr. last year.
For sure.
He scores pretty well himself. And so I think Jahan Dodson's going to benefit from having that, like gunslinger like Wentz throwing the ball.
So looking at it, and since then, not another quarterback going off the board, oddly enough. We had a bunch of wide receivers, but our wide receiver room is looking pretty decent. But just staying here, and I'll tell you what, looking around, I'm kind of interested now in Christian Kirk, to be honest with you. Just looking at it, Tyler Lockett, I don't know. I feel better if Tyler Lockett was still with Russell Wilson. He's not. Michael Gallup, coming off an injury. Cordell Patterson, I don't know what his usage is going to be. Thielen's getting a little bit older. Christian Kirk just got big money. So give me Christian Kirk here. I'm fine with that. And even if Christian Kirk is a guy that catches, I don't know, whatever for 800 yards and 7 touchdowns in the 10th round, I'm fine with that, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go with Christian Kirk here. And I've never been the biggest Christian Kirk guy, but sometimes you have to get away from guys that are your guys. You can't just draft your guys all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're just going to end up, if one of your guys crashes and burns, you're going to end up with that same piece in multiple leagues, and you have to fix that problem in multiple leagues.
Diversify your fantasy portfolio. That should have been a top tip for dynasty players.
I like that.
I didn't think about that one. All right, so looking at what's going off the board, had some tight ends go off the board. We have Freiermuth. Did we take another tight end? I don't remember.
Let's have a little look at our roster and see. So we obviously took Pat Freiermuth, and no, I don't see any other tight ends in there just yet.
It's all right. I'll wait a little bit. Let's go back to quarterbacks real quick.
Let's have a little look, see at quarterback. So yeah, those quarterbacks are all still sort of sitting there. I don't know if that's maybe just a result of sleeper being a bit weird with mock drafts sometimes, or maybe that's what actual drafts are looking like at the moment, where people just get their quarterbacks early and they're happy to wait.
I see 3 quarterbacks that I'm fine with taking right now. So let's go back to tight end again. I like this exercise too, because you bring different people on, you can see what their strategies are.
Yeah,
This is a great exercise and great thought by you, because then your viewers and your listeners, they have the ability to see different people, what they do, and then they can make their own way to do things off of it, which I think is fantastic.
Thank you.
Can we scroll down just a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So underneath you got McBride and Albert Owen, Irv Smith, Hunter Henry, and some people peeking up. Jelani Woods. Yeah, it's got some bit of hype about Jelani Woods coming out of camp as well. And then Higbee and Evan Ingram as well sitting there. Evan Ingram on the last show, a pretty good stat about, well, actually, we just drafted Christian Kirk, so I don't know. He was talking about Doug Peterson, the targets and yards receiving record for any Doug Peterson season. It has never been a wide receiver that has held that. It's always been a tight end or a running back.
Well, let's be fair. Looking back at some of the teams that Doug Peterson coached,
yeah,
and the wide receivers he was given,
you
know what I mean? He was never really given anything great.
Yeah.
So, and again, when people say Carson Wentz never supported any good wide receivers, he never really threw to any good wide receivers. Carson Wentz is the only player in NFL history, this is a real stat, to throw for over 4,000 yards in a season and not have a single wide receiver go over 500 yards. So that alone says that Howie Roseman needed to do a better job. Now, had Carson Wentz gotten some of the talent that the Eagles have now, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, things I think would have been a lot different. The best wide receiver that I think Doug Peterson ever had was probably Jordan Matthews, probably one of the most consistent. Jordan Matthews' career cut short by a knee injury. He was also traded away. Alshon Jeffrey had that one good year, the Super Bowl year. He actually played that year with a torn rotator cuff. Some people don't know that. Torrey Smith was there towards the end of his career. They tried to bring in Mike Wallace. They tried to bring back Deshaun Jackson. So they tried a lot of things that didn't necessarily work. They drafted J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, failure. Jalen Reagor has not worked out yet. So really, Doug Peterson's never had a really good wide receiver. He's never really given a good wide receiver. So I'm interested to see. And by the way, I'm all in on Evan Ingram this year. I think 1 year tryout in Jacksonville in a Doug Peterson system. Give me all of that. I'm not drafting him here yet. I'm also really not interested in a lot of these tight ends here, to be honest with you. I don't know what I want to do here. So, to be perfectly honest, if it was an option, I might trade out because I feel like I could wait on some of these guys, but that is not the point of this exercise. Let's go with right here. You know what? I'm happy taking okay, so here's my thought process, right? If I'm looking at quarterbacks, Ryan Tannehill, we don't know what's going to happen after this year. It very well could be Malik Willis next year. Davis Mills could be a 1-year guy. Matt Ryan could play a year and retire. Malik Willis might never start an NFL game. Desmond Ridder, behind Marcus Mariota, right? And then we have Carson Wentz there too. I actually think out of all these guys, I'm probably the most comfortable taking Carson Wentz right now if I need a QB3. And that gives me a really good trio of quarterbacks. If Wentz is your QB3, a guy that you don't have to rely on every week, but has a really good matchup and you want to play him, then you can. Daniel Jones, they didn't pick up his 5th year, I don't think. So
not that I heard, no.
We don't know. So give me Carson Wentz here. I'm happy with that. And then we got a nice little stack too. If you got some guys on a bye week, you got a Carson Wentz, Jahan Dodson stack.
Yeah.
A really good week for you.
Yeah, I really like that as well. And I think, I talked about on the last episode that was released a bit about Carson Wentz, and it was the same sort of options there. I was like, who would you pick? And I was like, I think I would take Carson Wentz. I think, like I said earlier, I think he's good for Dynasty. He may not be, great for the Commanders this year. He might, end up making mistakes, but I think he usually does well for your Dynasty team. He's always in and around that top 15 quarterback position, if not higher. And for a quarterback 3, I think that's really solid.
So just looking at our team and thinking about it, let's go back to tight end now. I want to see what's available there.
Yeah, I think we just lost Trey McBride on the run there. So
Yeah,
Not
I'm
too
actually
many
okay
others.
with that, to be honest with you, because Zach Ertz is still there. I feel like Zach Ertz is
Uh-huh.
going to be very relevant for
Yep.
probably. He's on a 3-year extension. I could see him being relevant for all 3 of those years. Zach Ertz is not
Yeah.
slowing down. Almost 800 yards between 2 different teams last year with 2 different quarterbacks. That says something.
Yeah.
So can you scroll down just a little bit for me?
Yeah. Let's have a look who's below Johnny Woods. Evan Ingram's still there, you talked about, obviously, and Tunion's there. Gronk, who hasn't said if he's coming back or not, but probably
Let's
will if Tom Brady's coming back.
let's go with scroll down a little bit yet and give me Brevin Jordan here. That's the guy. What? Wait, no.
Oh,
As my tight end too, I want Hayden Hurst. I think we're going to see a resurgence this year.
yep. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I do. Hayden Hurst didn't really get it going on in Atlanta, but then again, they drafted Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is going to be a stud. We know that.
Yeah.
Hayden Hurst has some talent, man, and he is better than
Yeah.
CJ Uzoma. He's better than Drew Sample, and
Yep. I
Joe
don't even
Burrow.
think I don't even think Uzoma's on the team anymore.
He's with the Jets now.
Yeah.
And Joe Burrow has shown that he does not hate throwing to the tight end. So give me Hayden Hurst in the 12th round. I'm fine with that. And I could see him having a better season than Trey McBride, who was drafted ahead of him. He could have a better season than Noah Fant, too, who went to Seattle. A little bit of a crowded room out there. So I'm happy with Hayden Hurst here. And just looking at some of the tight ends around him, I think Logan Thomas is going to have a good year with Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
And the guy that I'm looking to as well later is Cade Otton, who's drafted by the Buccaneers in the 3rd round. If there's no Gronk, the only guy to beat out is Cameron Brate.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
it. But
I
I'm happy with
definitely
Hayden
think so.
Hurst here.
Nice. I like Hayden Hurst. And by the way, Hayden Hurst, I was like, I got an offer from one of my friends in for Hayden Hurst, and it was a 3rd round pick, which I was like, I'm not giving a 3rd round pick for Hayden Hurst. It's nowhere near enough. And I went on to like a trade find to see what he's going for. He is going for nothing. You could get Hayden Hurst for almost nothing at the minute. So I actually used that bid that he sent me. I rejected that, and I've gone out and bought some Hayden Hurst myself because he's going for so cheap.
Why not? Right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's get your guys' season here in our startup draft. We got Zamir White, Melvin Gordon, who I don't think is going to do as much as he did last year. Ronald Jones, I talked about him earlier.
Yep.
Irv Smith. I've never been the biggest Irv Smith guy, to be completely honest with you.
I'm an Irv Smith guy, I think. Yeah, I think I like him.
He's fine. I always pivot. Tyron Davis-Price, who was drafted by the 3rd round. People like, pay attention when Shanahan drafts a running back in the 3rd round. Ask Trey Sermon how that worked out for him. Not too well, if I could be honest with you. So looking at our team makeup here, we have our running backs, right? We have we have 2 tight ends. We have 3 quarterbacks. So we technically have enough. We got what I'm going to do now is I start drafting for depth and I start drafting for upside. That's the point of the draft that we're in, in my opinion. So let's go back to just hit all players. I want to see what Sleeper's ADP is saying. So they got a lot of quarterbacks sitting up there. Just scrolling a little bit, if you could go down. Jared Goff's still on the board. I think Jared Goff's going to have a great year. Alan Lazard is there. Has MVS been taken yet?
I'm not sure. I haven't noticed him going off the board if he has. No, he's still there, yeah.
Yeah, give me MVS here. I heard that MVS has been tearing it up in Chiefs camp. And if there's a possibility that he's the wide receiver 1 on that team right now, it's possible, right?
Yeah.
I want it. And then you got to stack. I'm starting to get into stacks a little bit more, like quarterback, wide receiver stacks.
Yeah.
I'm getting into it a little bit. So let's go with Marquez Valdez Scantling here.
Nice. Let's get him. Let's get him locked up. Yeah, in round number 13. And I think I've said this before on the show. If this is a best ball league, I'm taking Valdez Scantling all day.
Absolutely. All right.
So it's great to have him locked in. And do you want me to stay on wide receiver here? You want me to pivot to all the positions, or what are you thinking?
Let's go back to tight end. Because again, we're not even for a super flex, we're not losing a lot of quarterbacks. I'd probably grab another one at some point.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's scroll down a little. Okay, I see the guy. I was going to get him before when we went with Hayden Hurst. Give me Brevin Jordan here.
That's right. Yes.
I like Brevin Jordan. People were down on him after his draft capital wasn't great last year. I believe it was the 5th round, and there was a lot of people that had him as their tight end too. I don't think I had him quite as high, but I like Brevin Jordan. like what he brings to the
Yeah.
table. He showed out a little bit last year towards the end of the year. So he has that connection with Davis Mills, and we don't know what Davis Mills is going to be moving forward, right? He could be the guy. We don't know. But he has that connection. So for right now, I'm happy with Brevin Jordan. And even if Davis Mills isn't there, Brevin Jordan already is. So
Yeah.
give me Brevin Jordan here.
Nice. Yeah, let's get him locked up. And I really like what you said there. And sort of at this point in the draft, like round number 14, like you just went as like, I like Brevin Jordan. And sometimes that's enough. Like just like take a player that you like. It's like, yeah, I like him. I like having him on my team. It makes me happy to pick him. So why not? Just take him.
Yeah. And I like what happened after that too. Like Kenny Galladay at the 14-12 didn't do a lot last year, but I think he was banged up too. Mecole Hardman, I'm kind of staying away from, to be honest with you.
As a Chiefs fan, I can't stand Mecole Hardman.
So you understand, he was overdrafted in the real draft when all that stuff was going on with Tyreek Hill, and everyone's like, he's the direct replacement. And I was like, did you watch his film? Because he looks more like a special teams guy to me. Jelani Woods, look, Marlon Mack, don't hate that pick here.
Yeah,
he could be something. Naheem Hines, good receiving back. Hassan Haskins, if Derrick Henry goes down, don't hate that at all. But let's see, we got 3 rounds left, something like that, right? 15.
Yeah, we got 1, 2, 4. We have 4 picks left.
We got 4 picks left, so we're still in get your guys season. Still haven't lost any quarterbacks from the last time, so I'm gonna wait.
They're all still like queued up there. I imagine whenever one goes, they'll all go. But yeah, they're all still sitting.
Then you know what? Let's start a run.
Nice.
Let's start a run here, and I'm probably gonna. Some people are gonna be like, "What is this guy doing?" Give me Jared Goff.
Ooh.
They brought in DJ Chark. They drafted Jameson Williams. Amon-Ra St. Brown is still there. The forgotten man, Quintez Cephas, one of the best blocking wide receivers I've ever seen, is still there. They have TJ Hawkinson. They have DeAndre Swift. Look, everything is pointing up for the Detroit Lions right now. Jared Goff is not a bad quarterback. Jared Goff was put in a bad situation last year, and he was still pretty damn productive. There were times where he was throwing the wideouts where people are like, who the hell is that? Right? Nobody knew who these guys were. So give me Jared Goff. I'm super happy about it, and I like his upside more than Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I like that. Jared Goff got to a Super Bowl with, weapons that are, roughly similar, if not worse than the weapons he has now at Detroit. And yeah, you're right. You forget what they have added. And yeah, I really like DeAndre Swift going into this year in particular. And, if you like Swift and you like Williams and you like Hawkinson and you like Chark, then you kind of have to like Goff, right?
Well, you would think so. But remember a couple years ago when everybody liked Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen and Irv Smith and nobody wanted Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the dude throws for over 4,000 yards every year. Yeah. Doesn't throw a ton of picks. I'm like, well, I'll take Kirk Cousins late. You know what I mean? And now I think people are starting to come around a little bit. But it's like, okay, so you don't want Kirk Cousins piloting your NFL team. I get that. But he could take the reign on my fantasy team and help me win games. I'm completely fine with that. So at this point in the draft, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for some running back stashes. That's probably where I'm going to look next. Some guys that might have some high upside, might fill in if there's an injury. And I actually see 2 right here. But can you scroll down a little bit? I want to see what else is out there. I'm not seeing anything super interesting there.
No, nothing in particular. Yeah, this is getting towards a wasteland. Matt Breida, he talked about earlier.
Matt Breida's there. The guy that I'm really interested in, if you scroll back up, that's Donta Foreman. CMC has shown that he has not had the ability to stay healthy. Donta Foreman was very relevant, filling in for Derrick Henry last year.
Yeah.
So Carolina signed this guy. I don't know what's going to happen with Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard was okay.
Yeah.
He was okay, but I think Donta Foreman might be a little bit better. Snoop Connor's there as well. There's a very good possibility Snoop Connor starts the season. Snoop Connor from Ole Miss, a guy that I liked, to be honest with you. I liked him a lot. Etienne's coming off that whatever injury, that weird foot injury. I can't remember what that was. Yeah. James Robinson coming off an injury. And I understand that Etienne's looked good in camp so far. He's looked explosive. I've always heralded Travis Etienne as the next Reggie Bush, to be completely honest with you. He's kind of a boomer bust player. Not a guy that I'm really hinging my my fantasy team's success on. So between those two, probably still going to go Donta Foreman right here in the draft. That being said, I did see a sleeper thing, no timetable for Chris Carson's return.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going to happen there. To be honest,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. If I have Chris Carson, which I don't think I have any shares, I'm trying to move him.
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, it's like Chris Carson, at this stage, I almost don't want Chris Carson to play again. Like
No.
it's just that injury sounded horrific.
Just walk away, dude. You've made your money. You've
Yeah.
knocked some people on the rear end. You're a hard runner. A lot of respect for you, but man, go
Yeah.
live your life. Go live your life and be happy with what you accomplished as a late round draft pick. You can rest your head at night knowing that you did pretty damn good.
Yeah.
All right.
I completely agree there. So we've put a bit of a run on running back there as well.
And then he gets taken.
Here come the quarterbacks. Here they come.
We started the run 2 rounds ago, but look at after this. Isaiah Pacheco from Rutgers, guy that I like. He went to Kansas City late. Raheem Mostert staying away. Too many injuries. Away.
So
Donovan People-Jones at the 16-11. I like that pick.
Yes.
I like that. And then Snoop Connor, who we talked about. And then look at our quarterback run. Tannehill, Ryan, Willis, Ritter, Daniel Jones. Yeah. All gone. Can you just click on quarterback? I just want to see what's out there now.
Let's see who's still got. Mariota is still sitting there, which is odd. And Jimmy Garoppolo is going to start somewhere.
I think so.
Like he's too good, I think. Like if he's the starter at the 49ers, fine. If not, I think they'll get rid of him. And he's good enough to start somewhere else. So yeah, I like Jimmy Garoppolo for longer term still.
And look at this. If this startup draft was a year ago, in the 17th round, Baker Mayfield is not sitting there. It's insane. Yeah, and you feel for the guy. What did Baker do besides get hurt?
I know.
Can't fault the guy for that, right? And then he played through a lot of those injuries too. Yeah. And then Stefanski, I believe, said he wanted an adult at quarterback. I don't know what Baker Mayfield did that was not adult. I mean, he's got kind of like a goofy personality, but I feel like the guys in the locker room like him, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a gutsy player.
And then you like that. Sorry to interrupt there, mate, but like the saying you want an adult at quarterback and then getting Deshaun Watson. Like, what are you doing?
What happens if this guy doesn't play? Do you go back and beg Baker? Because I feel like you've burned the bridges. That means you're going to Jacoby Brissett. And Jacoby Brissett's fine. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He is what he is. He knows what he is at this point in his career. But the upside is still better with Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, than Jacoby Brissett. Another curious thing here, looking at these quarterbacks going off the board, Malik Willis, Desmond Ridder, not guaranteed start. Mitchell Trubisky, who looks like he's going to start the season as the Steelers quarterback. He's still on the board. There's guys out there. But, let's go back over to wide receiver. I want to see if there's any young wide receivers out there that might be interesting. Odell Beckham still available. You know what? Here's a guy I like a lot. Give me Jarvis Landry. I saw a report that Jarvis Landry is tearing up New Orleans camp right now. And he's a guy I like. He's a buy now for a contender, which I feel like we are a contender. If Jarvis Landry is a guy that I'm plugging in as a bye week fill-in or whatever, I'm happy with that. Possession guy, probably not going to get you a ton of touchdowns, but he's going to be really good in a PPR setting. Give me Jarvis Landry in the 17th round. Yes, please. By all means.
I really like that. Especially, what we talked about earlier with Michael Thomas and like all the question marks about Michael Thomas. There's all those targets still to go around, and Jarvis Landry, has shown that he's a really solid wide receiver, and I think he'll look pretty good next year in New Orleans.
All right, last pick.
Right. Last one. I'll show you everyone, and we'll see. Or I have a sneaky feeling I know what you're going to do, but I'll let you. I'll let you say it first.
Just looking at these guys here, Van Jefferson you got some competition out there for targets. Tim Patrick is fine. It's kind of blah. Nico Collins, I like, but I'd rather have John Mechie. Devontae Parker, Joshua Palmer, I do. Just looking at these guys, honestly, the guy I want so far, I like Romeo Doubs.
I thought you might say it. Just after we talked about the video you did earlier, just off camera, I thought you might be thinking him.
He's really tearing up Packers camp right now. And Aaron Rodgers is saying good things. They're saying that he's more startable right now than Christian Watson if they had to start the season. And that's something that you should take notice of. Well, you're saying this, well, Mike, let me ask you this. Why didn't Romeo Doubs get drafted higher? He played at Nevada. And the fact of the matter is when you play at a bigger school or you have elite athletic potential like Christian Watson does, you get noticed more than a guy like Romeo Doubs. So I'll take dubs here, to be honest with you. And I'm happy to go a little wide receiver heavy. I'm fine with that because I really feel like if you want to build a successful team, build it around your wide receivers. You can trade for needs later because you always want good stud wideouts. And look at that. We started a wide receiver run in the draft too.
Nice. Love it with Josh Palmer, the last guy coming up.
So, I like Josh Palmer too.
Yeah. I like anyone in that Chargers offense at the minute, actually. I think you just want a piece of that for sure.
Yeah, I really do. Like Isaiah Spiller, I'm still happy to have Isaiah Spiller shares.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Absolutely. And Mike, let's have a little look now and see how our team is looking after that, fantastic draft. And I mean, the perfect way to start, getting Patrick Mahomes at the 1-6. I mean, wow, what a way to start. And our running backs locked in with, Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, Jahan Dodson as our wide receivers, Pat Freiermuth, and then some of the flex players. We've got Miles Sanders and Christian Kirk and Justin Fields in that quarterback and super flex position, but he can flop out for Carson Wentz, depending on how he does. And then we got a lovely bench as well. Hayden Hurst, MVS, Bremen Jordan, Jared Goff, Deonta Foreman, Jarvis Landry, and at the end, Romeo Doubs. How are you feeling about that, Mike?
I feel like this team is set up to win now and will be, if you just keep retooling it every year and filling in with good youth or trading, this is a really good team.
Yeah.
It's nice to leave a startup draft feeling good about your team because I'm sure you've done startups where you draft and you look at your team and you're like, oh, what did I do? That happens. And I think this shows that middle of the round, you're going to get good value. And this is where I feel like this is a really good spot to be. I feel like when you hit the wraparound, the one spot, the 12 spot, I just feel like you miss out on so much of the draft. You really do. And I feel like you really have to reach because there are times where it's so long until your next pick that you have to reach for guys. And you even heard me saying, like, I feel like I could wait around for this guy. I feel like I could wait around or 2 rounds for this guy because we're right in the middle. So that wraparound comes back to you so much faster than anywhere else. That's why I love drafting in the middle. This is why. And I don't even mind doing it in rookie drafts too, because I just feel like it's a good pivot point to move up or down.
Yeah.
Anywhere you
absolutely
have to.
Yeah, and that's that's why I love to show you got like guys who say like this is why you should draft in the middle, and then you got a guy next week who's like this is why you should draft at the start, and a guy in the week after is like this is why you should draft at the end. I'd love it, and it's you got to take everyone's opinion in it. It's shown that there's benefits to everything. It's just you got to play it right. You got to move around and play your cards right. So yeah, I really like that advice, Mike, and absolutely love the team that you managed to draft. And just want to say for everyone listening, just right behind me here, we've got the Hall of Flame. It is the best guest that we've had on this show, and you're able to vote for Mike to enter the Hall of Flame if you want. All you got to do, get over to the YouTube channel if you're not there already. Just give the video a thumbs up. That's it. The more thumbs up that this video gets, the higher Mike's going to go. Let's see if he can get on there. We got, Kev over at the wildcard team in 3rd place. We got Jess Stein from Dynasty Nerds at number 2. And then we've got Murph from the 5-yard rush sitting up at number 1. He's been there a while now as well. He's locked that in. So let's see if Mike can overtake it. Yeah. So, Mike, I just wanted to say, thank you so much for joining me in the show and being an amazing guest. And do you just want to remind everybody where they can find you online?
Of course. Well, thank you for having me, first of all. And you could find me at Rewind CEO. Find our show at Dynasty Rewind. Check out our YouTube channel, Dynasty Rewind. Content dropping daily. So we got a video every day. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. So we enjoy it. Come check us out. Come hang. Leave a comment. Leave a thumbs up. We'd love to see you over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you're checking those guys out. It is an amazing channel and lots of great content on there. And and thank you guys as well for listening and tuning in. And just want to say, even though we're cooling off the hot seat for a little while, just a reminder, keep yourselves and your teams lit. And we'll see you next time.